All right, let's talk about something we all know. Family. Specifically, we're going to dive into those hidden forces, the unspoken scripts that kind of run our family lives. The ones that can bring us together or, well, trap us in these endless cycles of conflict.
I mean, ever feel like you're stuck in a loop with your family? The exact same argument playing out over and over. It's exhausting, right? It feels like you're just trapped. Well, guess what? That feeling, it's not just in your head.
See, it turns out most families are kind of running on autopilot, following this unconscious playbook. It's this set of unwritten rules that basically dictates how everyone interacts, especially when things get heated.
And here's the absolute game changer. The problem? It's usually not one difficult person. It's not your rebellious teen or your critical parent. It's the pattern. The pattern is what's holding everyone captive. And that's exactly what strategic family therapy zooms in on. Changing the pattern, not fixing a person. Believe me, that little shift in perspective, it changes everything.
Okay, so to really get this, we have to totally shift how we look at things. We need to stop focusing on the individual players and start looking at the whole game board. And trust me, this is where that big aha moment kicks in.
So this big idea is called systems theory. And here's the best way to picture it. Think of your family like one of those baby mobiles, hanging over a crib. If you gently push just one of those little hanging shapes, what happens? The whole thing moves, right? Every single piece shifts. That's your family. It's one big interconnected system.
And once you see it like that, the whole blame game just starts to melt away. Suddenly, a kid acting out or a parent getting frustrated isn't just their problem anymore. No, it's a signal, a symptom of how the whole system is functioning. The problem isn't the person, it belongs to the pattern.
Okay, so if the family is a system, what are its moving parts? What's it actually made of? Well, let's break down the blueprint. We're going to look at the core components that make these patterns tick.
I mean, just think about your own family for a second. First, you've got your communication patterns. Not just what you say, but all the stuff you don't say, right? The eye rolls, the sighs, that's all part of it. Then you've got the roles everybody falls into. You've got the peacemaker, the scapegoat, the hero. And then there are all these unspoken rules and boundaries, the invisible fences that tell you what you can and can't talk about. So all these pieces, the communication, the roles, the rules, they create these predictable chain reactions, these behavioral sequences. It's like a domino effect. Check this out. A kid misbehaves. A parent has a really harsh response. So what does the kid do? They act out even more, and boom, the cycle just repeats on and on. You see it, right? The whole goal of this therapy is to find a way to step in and just knock over one of those dominoes out of sequence to interrupt the cycle.
So, the big question is, how on earth do you change a pattern that's so deeply ingrained? Well, this is where the strategic part of the therapy comes into play. Therapists have this whole toolkit of really clever ways to kind of throw a wrench in the works and disrupt that old family dance. Okay, one of the most powerful tools is something called the reframe. It's all about changing the story you're telling yourself about a behavior. So instead of seeing your teenager's rebellion as just pure defiance, what if you reframed it as a bid for autonomy, a clumsy, messy attempt to become their own person? See how that instantly changes everything? A parent's response can go from anger and punishment to maybe guidance and support. Man, you've got these techniques that sound totally wild. They're called paradoxical interventions. Get this. A therapist might tell a couple that argues all the time, okay, I want you to schedule a 30-minute argument every single night at 7 p.m. No exceptions. It sounds crazy, right? But by prescribing the problem, you take away all its power. It's not spontaneous anymore. It's homework. It becomes a chore. And you know what happens to chores? People stop wanting to do them. The arguments just fizzle out. A couple more tools in the box. There are directives. These are basically just homework assignments. A therapist might say, this week, Dad, you're going to spend 1 hour of one-on-one time with each kid. It's about practicing new ways of connecting. Then there's realigning subsystems. This is all about strengthening important teams within the family, like the parent team. When the parents are on the same page, acting as a united front, it creates so much more stability for everyone. Okay, so this isn't just a bunch of interesting theory. This stuff has real-world, practical applications. Let's talk about where this approach can actually make a huge difference in some of the toughest family situations out there. And I mean, the range here is huge.
This approach can help with all sorts of things. You've got the classic couple conflicts, the endless battles between parents and teenagers. It's amazing for helping blended and stepfamilies figure out their new normal. It can help with adolescent behavioral issues, navigating huge life changes, even managing the stress that comes with something like a chronic illness in the family. It's like having a roadmap for those really challenging times.
So, what's the big takeaway here? The goal isn't for some therapist to swoop in and fix your family. Not at all. It's about empowering your family with a new set of tools. It's about learning to see your own patterns and then work together to create new, healthier ones. That's what builds real, lasting change and resilience, long after anyone's been to a therapy session.
So, to wrap this all up, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own family. What is one rule that has never ever been spoken out loud, but everyone follows? Seriously, just identifying one of those unspoken rules, well, that's the very first step to understanding the playbook your whole family has been running on. Thanks so much for tuning in.